Massive stone towers pierce an empty sky. This enormous structure is called the Cage. In its shadow, a lone girl walks with purpose. And she will not leave until she has what she desires. Well, look who's finally up. Oh dear. So you did lose your voice after all. Don't worry. Mama's here to help. This way. You've lost more than just your voice. But I'm sure you already know that, don't you? You've lost so much, but the time has come to reclaim it. Life will be much harder if you can't speak after all. These stairs are the entrance to your prison, a place known as the Cage. It's a truly massive structure. Where you woke up, and this sandy area here, are just small parts of it.
This place is called... the Cage?
And now, the moment you've been waiting for, dream time!
How annoying.
We all live under someone else's command. Our bodies and emotions are not free.
One often lacks the will to choose from the remaining options.
These feelings, they're all real. But my reality wasn't. I just wanted happiness. Normal happiness.
Perhaps freedom, in the truest meaning of the word, never existed to begin with.
We don't have time to deal with gods right now.
I am a different man now.
It's something I want to do.
I won't stop until I've destroyed them all. Sear this into your mind.
I can destroy the flowers with
What
this.
is your anger meant for?
I'll kill them all.
Let's go. We have a final fragment to reclaim. Goodness, look at these rivers of sand. I wonder how such a thing came to pass. Make sure you don't get any grit in your eyes. I wonder where all of this sand is going. Let's head for the shiny black light up there. These strange statues are scattered throughout the cage. I don't know who made them, but I call them dark scarecrows. Anyway, This is the first one, so we'll start here.
A young boy of good upbringing moves across a vast wasteland. A taciturn man follows. The boy proceeds uneasily, his eyes constantly probing their surroundings, almost as if he fears they are being followed. Suddenly, a dreary town emerges from the dust. The boy suggests they take their rest, and the man nods silently. The two make for a nearby eatery, hoping to shake the road from their weary bones. But instead of welcome, they find a group of bounty hunters gathered at their destination. The lead hunter stares at the child, appraising him. You royalty, boy? His voice is wrath. The boy remains silent, his head hanging low. Perhaps angered by the lack of response, the bounty hunter suddenly draws his gun. Two shots ring out and fade into the dusk.
Did you see the flock of black birds that possessed the bounty hunter? They're nasty sorts who like to fly in and warp the story. Well, we are not going to let that stand, are we? Your role is to defeat them and put the story back the way it's supposed to be. But I suppose you already know that, don't you?
Perhaps angered by the lack of response, the bounty hunter suddenly draws his gun.
Enemy forces sighted.
Providing recovery. Having defeated the hunters, the man turns to his charge. Are you hurt, my prince? I am well, replies the boy. But remember, I am no longer a prince. With a wry smile and a touch of regret, he proposes they take their leave of the town. The man silently nods and gazes upon the boy's face.
Your task is to fix warped memories like this in order to restore complete stories. But we also need to collect weapons like these. Do you have a rough sense of what you're supposed to do now, child? Wonderful. Then let's keep this up. Also, Mama's here to help, so don't worry too much about it, all right? My, what a beautiful place. I can't fathom how anyone managed to construct something so large. Well, here's the second one. Are you ready?
Wherever people gather, stories come with them. But saloons have a special ability to loosen even the tightest of lips. Such rumors are what brings the woman with the mechanical arm and leg to this place. For she is a bounty hunter in search of her prey. The information she obtains from the patrons seems vague, but it is more than enough. Gathering herself, she exits the saloon in pursuit of her target. A lone bounty hunter blocks the woman's path. His breath is ragged and foul, his eyes a pair of tiny beads. "Give me all your money," he howls.
I'll cut down everything in my way.
It is over in a moment. woman's sigh is carried off by the wind. No mediocre highwayman could hope to stand against her desire for revenge. The woman heads for the forest in pursuit of her target.
We collect stories in order to regain what you have lost. But we also do it to make your wish come true. So let's keep it up. Slow and steady wins this race. I suppose I should tell you a little bit about the cage. It's a truly massive structure. Where you woke up, and this sandy area here, are just small parts of it. To be honest, a great deal of the cage is a mystery. I'm not even certain who gave it that name.
In a forest near a ruined church, a man surveys his surroundings. It would appear he is searching for food. The expression on his bandaged face is clouded. The grasses rustle ominously as they part. It seems the man is not the only one in search of food. The animals in this place are lean, starving, desperate, and they will do what they must to survive.
Enemy forces sighted. Intercepted.
Having secured his prize, the man returns to the church. The sound of his worn boot heels echoes throughout the dilapidated chapel. A boy lies at the back, his face drawn and haggard. The man kneels down and offers some of the food he collected. But the boy is too weak to hold it. His body will not allow him to accept even this meager meal. The boy tries to brush it off with a feeble smile, but the man just stares down at him in silence.
To think that poor sick child had to travel the wastes in his condition. Still, we've restored the third memory now. If we can collect the next one, it will mark the end of the staff's tale. Goodness, this place is nothing but stairs. I hope your little legs are okay. Still, I suppose it does allow us to see some rather lovely views. Be sure to rest whenever you start to feel tired, child. Someone once said resting is the shortcut to success after all. It's so bright here. Ah, there's the fourth one. We should be able to enter the final memory here. People who arm themselves tend to find their way into a fight. I fear you will have to face a good deal of death from now on. Are you ready?
The woman
People who arm themselves tend to find their way into it. I fear you will have to face a good deal of... Are you ready?
The woman who set out from town finally arrives at a wild wood. Soon, she comes across the ruins of a once proud church. The ceiling has collapsed, the walls mere suggestions. But in the very back of the church, she finds a deteriorated clockwork soldier, as well as the corpse of a boy. As the woman approaches, the clockwork soldier suddenly rises. He levels his weapon at her and lets fly with a fearsome howl.
I'll cut down everything in my way. The woman accesses the logs of the fallen soldier. Boy was a prince, driven from his kingdom. The clockwork soldier traveling with him was his guardian and his friend. But alas, the boy's disease worsened and he perished. Now alone, the man remained behind and continued to safeguard his charge, killing any who dared approach the body. For 100 years, the man stood watch. Their kingdom fallen, his body rust, his mind shadow. Yet still he remained to protect his friend. The woman builds a grave to mourn the pair and leaves the forest without a word.
He was a prince who was driven away from his own country. And before breaking down, the machine tried so hard to guard his master's body. This memory marks the end of the story they left behind inside this staff. Well done, child. Do you see how the proper story is now stored inside the staff? one of the lost fragments that you should be collecting. Up the stairs now. We still have a long way to go. The road splits here. Mama thinks we should go right, because it's the right way. But left also might be the right way. If it wasn't clear by now, Mama doesn't actually know. Oh, this weapon is... Anyway, let's get started on its restoration, shall we? I wonder what kind of story we'll find this time.
Once, two sisters with lovely ebon hair lived in a lush and verdant land. They hunted for food in the forest and did their best to each support the other. The elder sister had been born in the woods and was an archer of rare skill. When their parents died, she began teaching the younger how to hunt. The younger looks up to her and wants so badly to test out her new skills. This thought fills the older sister with warmth as she follows after her sibling. Suddenly, the elder sibling hears a beast cry out in the direction of her little sister. She sets off after her at a frantic pace. The savage beast looms over the prone girl and makes to attack. I'll cut down everything in my way. As an arrow penetrates the beast's tender flesh, it turns tail and flees. There was no way her little sister could have taken down the massive creature alone. Trying to calm her, the woman removes her silver hairpin and places it on her sister. It is a keepsake of their mother, one the young girl has long desired. "Thanks, sis," she says, beaming. "Next time, it'll be my turn to protect you."
The story of this weapon is all about that woman. I feel like we've seen her somewhere before. What could this black barrier be?
I'll cut down everything in my way.
What, more?
Out to anger me, are you? How can the enemy be acting outside of the scarecrows? Well, let's just square them away as best we can as we go forward, okay?
Found you.
I've got enough death for everyone.
Out to anger me, are you? What on earth could those dark creatures be after? I'm sorry, child. There are just so many things that Mama doesn't know. Look, something's out there. What could it be? There are so many mysteries in the cage, aren't there? This second scarecrow will hold another part of the weapon's memory.
Done with their hunting, the black-haired sisters decide to return home before dusk. The younger has caught a small bunny, and the elder a large boar. It is a typical day of hunting for the pair. They only notice the disaster when they come to the hill that overlooks the town. Flames billow forth, and the chilling snaps of distant gunfire can be heard. The woman immediately thinks of the war that is raging in the neighboring nation. She tells her sister to stay put and goes to see what has happened for herself. The town is oddly still, save for the incessant crackle of flames. The woman gasps as she takes in the grisly sight before her. All she can see are bodies. Bodies. Bodies.
Found you.
Out to anger me, are you?
After defeating the soldier, she hears a voice. Her worried sister has followed her into the fires of the village. Enemy soldiers cry out all around them. As the woman feared, the war from the nearby nation has finally found them. Strange and fearsome men surround them on all sides. Impact, heat, pain. Her little sister screams. As the woman's consciousness flickers out, 2 words from a soldier reach her ears. Sort them.
I see. This weapon speaks of war. I suppose it's rare for the memories in these weapons to be peaceful ones. That's a little sad. Prepared to beg for your life.
I've got enough death for everyone. I'll cut down everything in my way.
Providing support. This room is a bit strange, isn't it? Can you see down there? There are so many paths going every which way. It's like a maze. I wonder where the other paths lead.
The black-haired woman regains consciousness in a world enveloped by haze. She hears a faint voice. It sounds similar to her little sister's voice, but also different, wrong. My sister. I have to save my sister. The woman's dim memories slowly become clear. The blow she'd taken, her sister screaming, the soldier's words. Her only sister, her only family. She must save her. As she runs, the woman's world is enveloped in a shimmering wall of white. When the woman wakes anew, she is lying on the floor of an unfamiliar prison. Something is terribly wrong. She looks down at her body and stifles a gasp. One arm and one leg have been replaced by mechanical substitutes. And her black hair is now as white as snow. Where is my sister? She dashes off through the dim prison in search of her missing sibling. She dispatches both her cell door and its guard with equal ease. Only then does she realize the truth. Her body is now a terrible weapon. As this knowledge sinks in, darkness envelops her.
Prepared to beg for your life.
What, more?
When she interrogates the dying guard about her sister, he grins madly and says, "Our kingdom will invade all. Every country will bend the knee to our might. Then we'll experiment on the survivors and turn them into beautiful killing machines. Oh yes, they will be sorted." With these final words, the soldier dies. The woman begins to run. Don't think about it. Don't think about it. Don't think about it. She repeats the mantra as she runs, praying that somehow her sister has escaped this fate.
The memories of the woman in this weapon. She lost her arm and leg because of her dark past. Prepared to beg for your life.
What, more?
Prepared to beg for your life.
I've got enough death for everyone.
What? That was... Looks like that monster ran off somewhere. Anyway, the next memory we find will be the last for this part of the cage. We're almost there, child. Just keep going.
As the woman exits her prison, she beholds a town stained red with both flame and blood. She is in a strange land, one she does not recognize. But she must find her sister. The woman runs and runs and runs.
Found you. Out to anger me, are you?
That's a child. Upon hearing the wail, she dashes toward the sound. The thing standing before her was once her sister. But now, all trace of her former self has been lost to the sorting.
Prepared to beg for your life?
Her transformed little sister trembles, as if trying to remember something. The moment her sister is cut down in front of her, the woman loses all control. Even when her enemies are no more than mangled hunks of flesh, she cannot stop. Finally, the woman cradles her sister in her arms and gazes at her blood-stained face. Their hair, once dark as night itself, was now pure white. Yet the hairpin still glinted from atop the sister's head. The woman was alone. Her fate was sealed. And so she swore a vow to her sister. The fires of her revenge would rage until they consumed the entire kingdom.
People need goals and hopes in order to live their lives. And for her, revenge was itself a form of hope. spirit of desire and the drive to move forward. There are still many things you need to reclaim. Come now. The next fragment is waiting for you. What are those things up ahead? Oh my, bird statues. Oh, it broke. I do hope no one saw that. This building is so big. It's just like a castle. Let's fix the memory in the Scarecrow and then invite ourselves in, shall we? This gun. Anyway, let's get started restoring this story, shall we?
A mechanical soldier sleeps amidst the detritus of a castle storehouse. Time has no meaning here. A minute is as an age. Until the day he meets the boy. The exhausted boy can only mutter 3 simple words. Let me rest. Seeking to help, the man begins rooting around to prepare a makeshift bed. As he continues to dig, a discarded weapon suddenly activates. Enemy forces sighted. The man manages to assemble a crude resting place from the storehouse junk. The boy wearily makes his way to the bed and manages a heartfelt thanks. After studying the man for a moment, he begins to ask him questions. The man explains he was unable to carry out orders and discarded as defective. The boy responds that as his disease has grown worse, he too has been cast aside. The name the man gives is that of the first model of clockwork soldiers. I was also a first once, says the boy. First in line to the throne, but no more. You and I are much alike, says the boy with a sad smile. Weary of talking, the boy finally falls asleep. The man simply sits, keeping the boy's peaceful expression in the corner of his eye.
This is the story of a gun-wielding mechanical soldier. I suppose these are memories of when he first met the boy with the staff. Well then, let's head over to the castle. This isn't a terribly welcoming atmosphere. Prepared to beg for your life? Yeah.
I've got enough death for everyone.
What, more? It's the privilege of youth to move forward by breaking everything in your path.
Enemy forces sighted.
Move.
Continuing mission.
It would be much easier if we could just crash through those awful black barriers. Now this is an odd room. Well, let's keep going. It's a waterfall of sand. Looks like the path goes through it. Maybe there's a way to stop the flow. Is that a switch? The sand stopped. Oh, how lovely. Now we can move past it. There's a switch here, too. Give it a push. Ah, this one opens up the first path. How clever. The path is open now. Found you, Mr. Scarecrow. Let's get to restoring this memory.
The cold room burdens the boy, and his condition worsens. The man looks about and sees what appears to be a bottle of medicine. But upon taking it in hand and looking at the label, he realizes it is actually a weapon of poison gas.
Who are you?
Continuing mission.
Move.
The man continues to search for medicine that might aid the boy. It seems the storehouse expands beyond the junk pile pressed against the wall. He retrieves a bottle from the shelf and returns to the bed where the boy waits. The boy looks at the man's gift and chuckles. "Empty bottles won't cure me, I'm afraid," he says as the man stares at him blankly. "Still," says the boy. He suddenly stands, as if a thought has come to mind. The boy places a candle in the bottle, turning it into a small lamp. He then begins to sing in a small, quiet voice. By the power of his will does the hero draw his sword to stop the mean advances of the darkness in the world. He will use this light to lead away the people from fear's horde. It is the song of a hero who challenges evil in order to save his people. The lamp flickers warmly as the man thinks. "Thank you," he says finally. Those words should not have existed in the man, and yet somehow they did. The boy's shocked stare slowly becomes a smile, bright enough to last a lifetime. In the corner of a frigid room, these two companions are comforted by the same warmth.
I imagine you're getting used to this by now. Wonderful. Let's keep it up.
I'll shut down everything in my way.
Continuing mission.
I'll shut down everything in my way.
Move.
Continuing mission.
These stairs look terribly unsafe. It does seem like an effective way to keep intruders out, though. The cage is just filled with mysteries, isn't it? Oh, it's the monster that attacked us earlier. Are you going to chase it? It's almost like it's calling to us. It's not here. Well, let's take care of the scarecrow for now.
Soldiers' voices drift in from outside. The kingdom has once again declared war. The boy looks at the man and opens his heart. He once lacked the courage to stand against his father and had stayed complicit. But now he burns to stop the king and protect his people from the horrors of war. The passion in his eyes is evident. The man breaks through the door, and the boy follows after.
I'll shut down everything in my way.
Continuing mission. As a divine light shines behind him, the king glares down at the two interlopers. In a bold voice, the boy shouts up at the king. By my name as the firstborn, I propose this war be ended. In that moment, he is just like the hero of his song. With a sneer, the king looks to the clockwork soldier and says, the man freezes, but he cannot disobey his master, for that is how he was programmed. With a shaking hand, he readies his gun. The boy stares straight at the man from the end of the barrel. Unable to resist his orders, the man's finger hovers over the trigger. In a final, desperate move, the man shuts down his own motor circuits. His finger lets go of the trigger, and he falls to his knees before the boy. It is the first time he has resisted orders of his own volition, all to save the boy. With an animalistic cry, the king rises up before the pair.
Who are you?
The king's roar brings soldiers running as he demands they tear the traitors apart. The man seizes the boy's hand, and they begin to run from the castle. For the first time in his existence, the man finally has a will of his own.
A memory of war. So that's why that poor child was driven from his country. The king wished for control, while the prince prayed for peace and happiness. They were both thinking of their country. So why did it have to end up so? Why is there a person in a place like this?
Excuse me, miss. I've been waiting here for a really long time. But my mommy still hasn't come. Oh, I miss my mommy so much, and I was hoping you could put me in that scarecrow like you did with Mr. Monster.
I'm sorry. Mama can't help you. Let's be off.
Who are you?
I've got enough death for everyone.
Continuing mission.
That old man has been expelled from the story. I feel terrible, but there's nothing we can do for him. We must be careful not to end up lost like him.
Who are you?
Enemy forces sighted.
I've got enough death for everyone.
Continuing mission.
It seemed like that old man knew about you and the monster. And he spoke like a child. I wonder what happened to him. This is the last part of the mechanical soldier's story. Let's see how the memory ends, shall we?
The escapees arrive at the town outside the castle and find people in a panic over the impending war. Enemy forces sighted.
Move.
I've got enough death for everyone.
Somehow, the two managed to escape beyond the borders of the kingdom. Looking back on their former home, they each make an oath. The boy swears to travel the nation as its prince and bring an end to the war, while the man promises to guard the prince until his dying moment. Together, they will sever the marionette strings the kingdom has bound them to. With determination in their hearts, they take their first steps into the future.
They both fought. The boy for peace, and the machine for him. That must be how their memories were intertwined. This is the third fragment. Prayer of all emotions. I believe this one might be especially human. It is a heart that fills in the blanks of a vague future. Well, do you feel anything different? My, that's wonderful. Let's keep this up and get those fragments back. Then your wish can come true too.